Hi and welcome to Lore Bites. I'm Hammeh, and in this series I break down Warcraft lore topics and story for you simply and quickly using canon Warcraft lore sources, so you don't have to do the digging. In this episode we're exploring artifact lore from World of WarCraft's new expansion, Legion, discovering the history behind the powerful weapons you wield, whatever class you're playing or specialisation of skills you take. This episode's weapon of choice is the marksmanship hunter bow Thas'dorah, legacy of the Windrunners. Created to aid in the defence of the Highborne Elven kingdom shortly after its creation, Thas'dorah has claimed many troll, orc and demon lives in its long history. A proud heirloom of the Windrunner family for thousands of years, Thas'dorah was presumed lost with its last known owner, in the destruction of the orcish homeworld of Draenor. In the battle for the Pillars of Creation following the most recent Legion invasion, the legendary bow has since resurfaced, and is now kept under the care of a hunter of renown, while the fate of its true owner remains uncertain. Thas'dorah's origins lie with the Highborne Elves. Nearly 7,000 years ago, the Highborne Elves founded a new home in the Eastern Kingdoms after being exiled by a Malfurion Stormrage for refusing to give up arcane magic. Settling in the north of the continent, the Elves built upon a confluence of magical ley lines and created a city, Sylvannas. Using a vial of water from the Well of Eternity to create a new fount of arcane power, they formed the Sunwell, and the kingdom of Thas'dorah rose over the land as a shining monument to their former glory. As the Sunwell's magic radiated outwards through the nearby Eversong woods, the forest's oldest tree began to absorb its energy. This massive tree was named Thas'dorah, the light of the forest. From its enchanted branches, the entire region seemed to be bathed in the glow of an eternal spring. As Silvermoon blossomed, the Highborne Elves had fended off constant attacks from Amani trolls. Long before the War of the Ancients, which split the once single continent of Kalimdor into the World of WarCraft that we know today, the Amani trolls lived in Kalimdor. When Silvermoon was established, trolls took objection to this, because it was built on the grounds of a sacred troll city. For years the Amani trolls had attacked, but were wary of launching direct attacks on Silvermoon, and the Elves' magic had kept them at bay for several millennia. The conflict would become known as the Troll Wars, when the re-strengthened trolls lashed out again, and death tolls rose quickly. To keep their enemies at bay, they constructed a series of monolithic runestones that acted as wards against intruders and also hid the elves' use of arcane magic from the Burning Legion. The wards succeeded in keeping enemies out of Silvermoon, in part due to their anchor. They had been linked to Thas'dorah, tying the power of natural magic to their arcane spells. However, the tree's power could not keep the Highborn safe when they left their city, and for that they needed skilled fighters. An order of fighters called Rangers was founded to defend Thas'dorah. The greatest of these early rangers was Alleria Windrunner, a master of archery and ranged combat. Swiftly rising in the ranks, he was named the first Ranger General of Silvermoon for his bravery and valour, and this occasion was commemorated by the leaders of Silvermoon declaring their champion should be given a weapon befitting his new status. Highborn weaponsmiths set to work immediately. A trio of skilled artisans joined together to create a great bow for Sylvannas. They carved its body from a limb taken from Thas'dorah, and infused this wood with the arcane waters of the Sunwell. Immersed in this arcane power, the bow began to change. It was hardened and became nearly indestructible, and yet still maintained a natural magical connection to the tree Thas'dorah. The bow radiated power when retrieved, and Sylvannas was humbled by the gift. He named the weapon Thas'dorah, Valour of the Forest, and promised that, as long as this weapon protected Highborn lands, Silvermoon would never fall. Sylvannas made good on his promise, and Thas'dorah's power was so skillfully wrought that even a novice would have been able to hit a target from 100 paces, and arrows sang as they sailed to their marks. Amani trolls soon learned to fear the sight of this bow. If they caught a glimpse, they were within its range. They were forced to retreat, allowing the Highborn Elves to settle deeper into the forest and writing Alleria Windrunner into legend for his part in securing the land of Thas'dorah for future generations. His descendants would, in time, similarly take their place in history, but for very different reasons. Thas'dorah remained with the Windrunner bloodline for thousands of years. From their home of Windrunner Spire, in what today is known as the Ghostlands, the family dedicated their lives to the defence of Thas'dorah, and in each generation, the eldest would carry the bow into the forests to drive away interlopers. Because Thas'dorah never left the region, it continued to bask in the radiant magic of the Sunwell and the surrounding forests, and slowly but surely the bow was seasoned in a way that no one could have anticipated. Its strength only increased, and powers began to manifest in surprising ways. An arrow launched towards a target might be joined by other magical arrows, also aimed at the enemy. A few years before the Orcs had invaded Azeroth, the Ranger General of Silvermoon was Alleria Windrunner, who had 3 daughters, Alleria, Sylvannas, and Verisa. As the eldest, Alleria was expected to take on the mantle of Ranger General, commanding Silvermoon's armies and the defence of Thas'dorah, but she had little use for tradition or expectations. Preferring the practical, Alleria became a fast rider, one of a group of rangers focused on fighting for the Highborn all across Azeroth. She made a name for herself after a number of quick, decisive victories, and, instead of her sister Sylvannas would one day rise to leadership, becoming Ranger General in her stead. Thas'dorah at this time remained in Larissa's hands, and would not be passed on to Alleria until tragedy struck the Windrunner family, as it would many times in the years to come. Alleria's history with Thas'dorah would become much more than the defence of Kel'Thalas. Whenever she took up the family heirloom, Alleria would be a key figure in the fighting of the Second War, driving invading Orc forces back from Sylvannas with the Alliance army, breaking the siege of the capital city in Lordaeron, and even taking the fight to the original Orc homeworld of Draenor with the Alliance expedition, whilst rekindling her relationship with Turalyon, famous paladin and former second-in-command to Anduin Lothar. As the Alliance expedition closed the last dark portal to Azeroth in the events of Warcraft 2 Beyond the Dark Portal, Alleria and her bow were trapped in Outland, formed from the destruction of Draenor by the after effects of portals opened by Ner'zhul, Warchief of the Draenor Orcs. As the dark portal closed, Alleria, her bow, Turalyon and other members of the Alliance expedition were presumed dead, and monuments to them still stand in the gates of Stormwind City to this day. In the events of the Burning Crusade, when some of the Alliance expedition were found to be alive, they still didn't know the whereabouts of Alleria, and therefore her bow, Thas'dorah as well. Alleria's whereabouts would be completely unknown until just recently. Upon the Legion's invasion of Azeroth yet again, a hunter of renown, having witnessed Dauron's transportation to the Broken Isles, is contacted by Emerald Shadewarden of an organisation called the Unseen Path.
Snowfeather delivered my message. Good. We have need of you.
Founded after the War of the Ancients, the Unseen Path vowed to safeguard the people of Azeroth and brings together the hunters from all around the land. Emerald is familiar with the bow. She apparently fought alongside its first owner, Sylvannas, during an attack by the Armani trolls, making her very, very old indeed. Following a lead from Emerald, the renowned hunter meets Alleria Windrunner, the younger sister to Alleria and Sylvannas. A captured demon has given intelligence of Alleria's potential whereabouts. She was apparently held captive on a Legion Inquisition world called Niskara. Alleria decides to investigate and asks our hunter to help her.
Never was very good at following orders. See you on the other side.
Orestes, you fool! Now we have 2 allies to rescue. Follow me in!
After battling through Demon Legion forces, too late to save Orestes, a hasty member of the Silver Covenant organisation Alleria leaves who disobeyed her orders to help in the rescue. Our hero saves Alleria from High Inquisitor Quor Maladin.
What have you done with Alleria, monster?
Another Windrunner for my collection. Oh, the secrets you'll confess to me.
Forget about me! Save Alleria! Enough. I must know if Alleria was truly held captive here, or if this was all a ruse to trap us. Was she here for days? Years? Centuries? The mage was right. Time has little meaning in this place. By the light. There! It's her bow! Thas'dorah!
Only to discover that Alleria isn't there. She seems to have escaped, however, leaving her bow behind. Thas'dorah remains, and Alleria infers that the demons had hoped to allure Alleria back with it.
Alleria was here. Her bow's presence is the proof. Doubtless she escaped, and the Inquisitor sought to use me to lure her back. Thas'dorah began as my family's legacy, but now this weapon has a greater purpose.
In the absence of her sister, Alleria suggests that the hunter champion be the one to claim it, acknowledging them as a hero on a par with her sister.
This is a bow worthy of a hero like Alleria. A hero like you. Take Thas'dorah, champion. Use it to lead the fight to save Azeroth.
Thas'dorah, the Windrunner heirloom, legendary bow and the Valor of the Forest, has a new caretaker for now. Are Alleria and Turalyon still alive? Will Alleria ever return to claim her bow from our hero if she is? It'll be fascinating to find out their fates as Legion and the story of the Warcraft world continue. Thanks very much for tuning into this episode. If you like this vid, subscribe for more vids from me, a like would be awesome, and please do comment below with any Warcraft lore topics, weapons or characters you'd like to see me cover next, how you're enjoying Legion, and of course where you think Alleria might be. I'm a long-term World of WarCraft fan, but lore videos here are new for me, so please do let me know what you liked, disliked, or how I can improve this. I appreciate the feedback a lot. Check out my other lore videos for Overwatch and other games, as well as my latest videos in general in these playlists. Cheers for tuning in. I've been Hammeh. Take it easy.